There is an unquenchable desire within the human species that leads them on to the never-ending quest of development, enlightenment, exploration and discovery. Throughout recorded history, and even in archaeological finds all over the world, humans have never stopped trying to understand their world, how it works and what it contains. During the past year, with all the difficulties surrounding the protection of the world from a virus that has spread to every continent, the same drive to explore and discover has not been abandoned. Many discoveries have been made, while the news of the day reported things of more urgent necessities. Ocean exploration is just one of those areas of investigation that has never come close to finding its end. Now, before we take a look at 5 of the little-known reports of discoveries that you may have missed while working through the weightier events of our past year, we'd like to say a special thank you to this video's sponsor, Magellan TV, a new kind of service that features additional fascinating topics and puts those old issues to rest. Magellan TV is a membership-based streaming platform created by a team of filmmakers who put first the genuine passion of true crime diehards. Their service includes an incomparable library of crime-centric titles never before seen on any other streaming platform, including giants such as Netflix and HBO. And if you need a break from a true crime binge, Magellan TV also offers films and series based on subjects such as art and culture, space and ancient history. Not only that, but they also add new programs and additional ad-free content every week, so you can discover new unresolved mysteries every time you load the service from whatever device you'd like to stream on, using their flexible device compatibilities. One especially intriguing documentary we have to recommend is the title An Eye on You, a documentary diving into the history of civilian surveillance, the scandals surrounding it, and how they jeopardize our personal freedom. It's the perfect blend of mystery and real-world issues, both vital fixtures to the Top 5's community. And if you sign up today, you'll receive a free 1-month trial by clicking on the link in the description below. So stop waiting and discover those untold stories guaranteed to capture your imagination. Duobrachium Sparksae. In our oceans, nearly 250,000 species have been identified. With each new vehicle to explore greater depths, and with each new camera that can image ever-increasing amounts of details within the ocean depths, more species are found. Just like the Duobrachium Sparksae, this particular species is part of a growing group known as comb jellyfish. Our first new discovery was done by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Office of Ocean Exploration and Research. In April 2015, an ROV named Deep Discoverer was working at a depth of nearly 4,000 meters and 400 kilometers north of Puerto Rico when it made the discovery. Over the past decades, the group of jellyfish known as comb jelly, or ctenophore, have been discovered in a wide range of varieties. These particular types of jelly are known for having rows upon rows of tiny cilia filaments over various parts of their bodies. In motion, these cilia refract light back to the observer, making a beautiful display of colour, pulsating in an orderly and organised pattern, exclusive to each subspecies. The new comb jelly that has been discovered had the unique distinction of being identified almost solely via high-definition camera. This allowed for some of the most breathtaking video of this colourful creature that the scientists, and we as observers, could have hoped for. The wide spectrum of reflecting colours that came through with the amazingly clear images made for an easy classification of the discovery. One of the special characteristics of this new discovery was the appearance of the 2 long and narrow tentacles, giving the jelly the nickname of party balloon. These 2 extensions gave rise to the species name, Duobrachium, or 2-armed. As of our report, no physical sample has been made of our newly identified oceanic neighbour, but in time more will be learned. The unnamed glowing sponge. Seen the world over in both fresh water as well as ocean, sponges are a fairly common sea creature seen in many varieties. The very nature of the creature, with its porous surfaces, durability and characteristic absorbency, has made sponges a household necessity in years past. Though recent years have had artificial sponges replace most of the ocean harvesting. As the filters of the ocean, these creatures are so common that when something unusual is found about them, it is usually quite remarkable. Such is the case for this newer and still unnamed discovery. In 2017, the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute sent Doc Ricketts a deep-sea ROV to a depth of 4,000 meters off the coast of Monterey Bay. While doing their investigation, they came across an unusual sponge of the Cladorzahedra family and still has yet to be named. This sponge was unusual for many reasons, the first being its appearance. Unlike many, this sponge grows from a thin anchored stalk reaching up to a bulbous mass. Long filaments decorate the top bulbous body, giving this sponge its unusual shape. Like all sponges, this creature filter feeds in still water, so that its pores do not become clogged with silt from more turbulent tides. But unlike other sponges, the uniqueness of this creature was discovered once it was brought to the surface for study. For over a century, glowing sponges have been seen. However, it had always been found that this was due to the creature absorbing the remnants of other bioluminescent sea life, such as bacteria. Once in the lab, this newly discovery proved to be unusual in that it created its own light and not by outside influences. Zolenterazine is the chemical used in many glowing sea creatures. It's the very same produced by our new and still unnamed carnivorous sponge. Discovering how this actually works has taken years, since the creatures were first brought on board the research vessel and tested in darkness. Only the anchoring stalk of this sponge shows no signs of bioluminating. As of this report, no reason has been discovered for the sponge to use light. The depth of 4,000 meters makes any investigation difficult, but these sponges do seem abundant and in time will reveal their secrets. The bioluminescent Taningia Danae. The ocean has been a source of inspiration for explorers, poets, sports enthusiasts, photographers, and painters for centuries. Perhaps one of the most profound aspects of our oceans that humans have come to rely upon is the wide variety of food that can be found within the deep. This next creature, the Taningia Danae, just happens to belong to one of the more popular foods from the ocean, squid. Though the Taningia is not fished by people deliberately, it can sometimes be found in fishing nets. When whaling was still allowed, the most common place to find it was in the stomach of sperm whales by the thousands. Taningia have been known about for just over a century, but the more fascinating aspects of this species are more modern in discovery. One of the more unique features of this particular squid is its lack of two long feeding tentacles, which is an almost trademark feature for nearly all other squid. Instead, several peculiar features exist for the Taningia. The first are its claw-like structures around the suction cups on its tentacles. These are similar to cat's claws, making the grip on its prey that much more deadly. The second and far more fascinating features are its two photophores. In place of the two missing feeder tentacles are two fist-sized organs that emit a yellow light. The ability of this squid to use photophores continues to be studied, with new discoveries happening even in recent years. These light-emitting tentacles have a strange but highly useful feature. Each has a black membrane that acts similar to eyelids, allowing the light to be turned off or on at a whim. The long-term study of photophores have led to several hypotheses as to their function in the deep. One of the more common theories has the photophores as a warning to predators. This theory is consistent with why these squids end up in the belly of whales, since they hunt mostly by sonar location and not by visual cues. Captured specimens have also demonstrated the use of light when agitated. One small specimen had been caught and placed within the ship's aquarium, and light was removed from the room. After a researcher had adapted his own eyes to the lack of light, he placed his hand in the tank to see the reaction. He discovered that a brilliant blue-green light was emitting for both sudden attacking as well as retreating. In both cases, the light flashed very briefly. However, when the squid had continuous stimulation, such as pinching a fin, the light lasted as long as 7 seconds. Living at depths like this creature, at over 1,000 meters deep or lower, it seems that the ability to use light is a necessity for much of the deep water life. The black swallower. Continuing our investigations into very deep sea life and little-known species with fascinating characteristics lead us to another unique creature, the black swallower, a relatively small and visually unremarkable fish at first glance, but when it comes to feeding, its small size becomes irrelevant. Most of us have seen surface creatures like the boa and python with their ability to unlock their jaws and consume prey. This trait is not unique to surface creatures, for our black swallower does so in a very similar fashion, measuring at just under 25 centimeters or 9.8 inches full grown, without scales and a black or dark brown color, all characteristics of the Chasmodontidae deep ocean family. Other characteristics include a narrow long head and body with snake-like teeth. The black swallower hunts at depths ranging from 700 to 2,700 meters in the darkness of the tropical and subtropical zones, but most commonly seen off of the coast of North America. Over the years, the black swallower has been caught only on rare occasions by just a few fishermen, with often an amazing tale to tell of what they saw. Most specimens have been seen dead on the shores near their habitats. The black swallower gets that name for being the ocean's version of a competitive eater. Its flexible jaw and razor teeth allow it to grab onto fish many times its size. But unlike other fish, capturing the fish does not mean immediately devouring. By tearing its prey into bite-sized pieces, the swallower does just as the name implies. It takes in the kill tail first and completely whole. This is where the comparison to constrictor snakes of the surface share a feature with this fish. The shallower has a stomach that can expand and distend to several times larger to accommodate much more massive meals than its own body size. These images show only some of the smaller prey that have been photographed over the years. These fish are often overly enthusiastic about their choice of a meal, in essence biting off more than they can chew. Many times when the swallower attempts to devour something too large, its stomach can tear open, leading to death. At other times, the mass of the prey is so large that digestion becomes too slow or impossible, due to the inability for the stomach acids to circulate adequately. When this happens, the meal can rot inside the swallower, which can lead to deadly toxicity. It can also cause gas from decomposition of the prey to inflate and add buoyancy. If this happens, the swallower stands the real chance of ascending too quickly, leading to the bends and subsequent death. One particularly impressive observation came in 2007 off the south coast of the Grand Cayman. The report from the fisherman who captured the swallower stated that the fish was 19 centimeters in length. However, it was in the process of devouring a snakefish that measured nearly a meter long. The black swallower is a truly impressive eater. The vampire squid. Our last creature is also one from deeper parts of the ocean where little to no light can reach. In years past, over a century ago, common belief existed in the minds of oceanographers that nothing could live in these extreme depths. Serious investigations at the time proved the majority that held to this theory were indeed quite wrong. One of the first specimens to be captured at these dark depths was quickly deemed the vampire squid. Its scientific name literally means vampire from hell. This name was given solely on the basis of its appearance, and not from any nocturnal excursions silently hunting for blood to consume. There are several features that gave rise to the name. The first is its colour. The vampire squid can range in colour from deep black to a pale red, depending upon the depth of which it is found. The less light, the darker the appearance. Another striking feature involves the tentacles. This is where the vampire squid not only found reason for its name, but also for one of several traits giving it an entirely unique species category. Our little deep-sea friend has webbed tentacles, giving it a cape-like appearance, hence looking like a caped vampire. The vampire may be called a squid, but its genetics much more resemble that of an octopus than that of a squid, but there is not enough in common to be classified as such. The vampire of the deep is in a group all to itself. Another intriguing characteristic of this little marvel is its eyes. Squid and octopus are known for having large eyes, but the vampire has the largest proportionally to its body size. These two range in colour from red to blue. Also, unlike other similar creatures, our friend here has suckers only near the end of its tentacles. The more central and inner portions of the tentacles have little spiny projections called cirri. When the vampire is threatened, its cape will invert and wrap the head nearly completely. This leaves rows of those cirri pointing outwards. and toward any would-be predator from making a meal of it. Starting from its earliest days of life, the vampire has been found at mere millimeters in length, eventually growing to 30 centimeters or about a foot in length. In its adult form, 2 small fins grow on the distal portion of its head to assist in locomotion. Just like a great many deep-sea life, the vampire uses bioluminescence for hunting and defense. Most of its entire body has photophores, allowing it to generate light whenever needed. The duration of expressing its light ranges from just fractions of a second, up to some observations of 7 minutes. One feature that octopus in general almost all share is the ability to produce and dispense ink in times of trouble. Our little vampire cannot do this. Instead, it has adopted a diversion technique that is ingenious for deep water life. With the greater life-threatening situations, the vampire will drop mucus from its tentacles that carry tiny spheres of bioluminescence. With a small cloud of blue light as a distraction, the critter only needs to swim a short distance away to hide in the darkness. This feature is a costly one, however. A great deal of food energy is required to make and store this self-defense mechanism, so using it is almost always a last resort. There is still so much to learn about the vampire's habits and life cycle, but like with most endeavours, given time, technology and dedicated people, our little friends will reveal many more secrets. So that's it for this video. We hope you've enjoyed learning about a few of our deep-sea neighbours. With so many new discoveries in the deep depths, many more creatures are yet to be found to share their uniqueness with the curious above the oceans. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the next video.